So, for those of you that don't know, um, here in California and in Los Angeles, they have been reopening a lot of businesses, like certain stores that were closed, businesses that were closed, restaurants, dining areas are opening up. There's, I would say, it's not a slow opening; it's a fast reopening, and it just seems to come really, really fast. And in spite of all of these reopenings that are going on, what is not good that is happening, news of a judge that ordered to end the moratorium from CDC. Okay, so a federal judge, there's several articles here and multiple articles that read, and this one was a day ago, all of these were a day ago, that a federal judge ruled national eviction moratorium exceeds the CDC's authority. Now, some lawyers are trying to fight this, and I'll say before I go into this article that what has happened is there has been, and I'm just saying this in Los Angeles and South LA, there has been a boom with the U-Haul and all the moving truck companies because there have been evictions left and right in the sense that every week there are people having to move. And the reason for this is because even with the moratorium that was going on, landlords were trying to find loopholes, and supposedly, from what I've been seeing and hearing, it's been successful. So a lot of people were ousted out of their place that they lived, even if they were not even, if they were behind on rent, but it had to be other reasons that they could find loopholes to get these tenants out. And it could be a number of things. Maybe it could be that they were a danger to the building, or that there could be a laundry list of issues and ways that they could figure out to move out tenants quickly or get them out. And it didn't even have to be non-payment of rent, is what I heard. So this article, it's in NBC, it's in Associated Press and Reuters. And so to let's take a look at one of these articles here. And there's multiple articles that say the same thing. Now they're currently trying to fight this because they have called on the Biden administration to try to fight these issues. I don't know if this is a video. I wasn't intending on playing any video, so if there's a video showing, I'm sorry for that. I'm gonna go down and actually go into the article, so it's probably a video attached to it, which I'm not really going to go into that. But it says federal judge rules national eviction moratorium exceeds the CDC authority. And so everybody should really look at this that is in this position, because you want to see how it affects your family and maybe your friends or people you might know going through this. And so these are some long names: Lauren Ignan, Michael Cosner, and DeRay Gregorian. So these are the names of the people that put this article together. So a federal judge ruled on Wednesday that the Center of Disease Control Prevention National Eviction Moratorium, aimed at helping victims of the pandemic hold on to their homes, exceeds the agency's authority and should be vacated. So this doesn't only apply to just renters, it also applies to people in houses. So, and I hear not only the landlords were rejoicing, but realtors were also excited about this because they benefit in that way, in that sense as well, from this ruling. So the question for the court is a narrow one. Does the Public Health Service Act grant the CDC the legal authority to impose a nationwide eviction moratorium? So that is the question. So it does not. So Judge Dabney Friedrich is her name. I said Frederick, of the U.S. District Court of the District of Columbia, wrote in a 20-page ruling finding that the moratorium, which was scheduled to remain in place until June 30th, the end of June, should be vacated. And so the judge noted that while the Congress had ratified earlier extensions of the moratorium order, it had not done so for the latest extension. So it's unclear what the immediate impact of the ruling will be. And so I just want to stop, pause for a minute, and interject that this is not good for millions of people. Now, state by state, city by city, everybody has different protections, even underneath the moratorium. There's other city and state protections. So you have to look in your city, your particular state, what other protections are in place, even if this CDC ruling, the moratorium ending, does eventually take hold. So it goes on to say that Brian M. Boynton, acting Assistant Attorney General in Justice Department Civil Division, said the agency respectfully disagrees with the judge's decision. So there are people that are trying to fight this ruling. So the department has already filed a notice of appeal of this decision and intends to seek an emergency stay of order pending appeal, Boynton said in the statement. So he said that the moratorium protects many renters who cannot make their monthly payments due to the job loss and healthcare expenses that have happened. That scientific evidence shows that evictions exacerbates the spread of COVID-19, which has already killed more than 500,000 Americans, and the harm to the public that would result in unchecked evictions cannot be undone. Okay, so the ruling is one of several conflicting decisions on the issue, which Friedrich noted in her decision. So, in the last several months, six courts, at least six courts, have considered various statutory and constitutional challenges to the CDC's order, she wrote. So, in one of those cases, a judge in Texas had ruled that the eviction moratorium was unconstitutional. So I heard that that was a lot earlier, but that was struck down. So the government has appealed that decision. So that didn't actually make it. So the White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, or Psaki, told reporters during her daily news briefing that the DOJ was reviewing the latest decision, but that the moratorium had been a huge benefit for struggling renters. And so we also recognize, of course, the impact that the eviction moratorium for Americans who have fallen behind on rent during the pandemic. So a recent study estimates that 1.5 million fewer evictions filed during 2020 than would be expected due to the eviction moratorium, Vasaski said. So that is what has helped a lot of people be able to remain in their apartments or their homes until these situations are resolved, or at least come to some kind of closure. So numerous landlords have criticized the policy and challenged it in court, arguing it made it impossible for them to make ends meet. So some landlords were saying they were in financial jeopardy because of the moratorium and because of the setbacks, because they weren't getting money from tenants, or they weren't getting any money at all from some tenants, weren't paying anything. Um, Bob Pennegar, president of the Landlord Advocacy Group and National Apartment Association, praised the ruling, which he said reinforces just how far the CDC overstepped their authority. So eviction moratoriums are dangerous, detrimental policies that harm housing affordability, housing providers, and our residents, he said. So this is a landlord that is saying it's not me. Okay, so eviction moratoriums are dangerous. This is what he was saying. So he didn't like it. And so there were other landlords that were similar to his views. And so the moratorium was first enacted as part of the first coronavirus stimulus bill, which was included in the CARES Act signed by the President Donald Trump last March. And so it expired in July and was followed by an order from the CDC in September. That order was initially set to expire at the end of January, but it has since been extended through by President Joe Biden, CDC Director Rochelle P. Walensky. And so that's pretty much how this one goes. And so this is pretty interesting. That has nothing to do with this, but I thought maybe some people, if they weren't really paying attention, that you should kind of like open your ears and your eyes now, because this could, come around the bend, around to your city, wherever you're living, possibly, and you may hear about it, and so you want to be
El
on top of
totalmente
that.
nuevo Hyundai Elantra, ahora con pantalla táctil de 10 pulgadas y cuarto, no disponible en Civic, Corolla o Sentra.
Also,
Obtén cero de interés y sin pagos por 90 días, más 1,000 bono en efectivo en el Elantra 2021. Visita comprehyundai.com.
opening businesses, but in relation, here's so much about Americans, here's so much about, people getting sick with coronavirus. Some people are getting infected, but the numbers have dropped really low, and so I really want to be mindful of that. I just kind of feel like the real things are happening so fast, because so many businesses are suffering There were some stores that were threatening to close, some did, some businesses closed for good. There were some leaders that were because they weren't having business. They were also threatening eviction. So this one of my many videos that I think is pretty important about what's going on in times today. And I really, to be honest, I don't think that this is over. Nothing is really normal. So what I've been hearing about the vaccine, and over here, and I don't know what happened in Houston, we had like these big megaphone vaccine places. One was a Scottish baby and now it's very different. They have one and so they're still giving out shots. You don't pay money for it. There's been a lot of people that have taken advantage of people, and they've lied and said they had vaccine, and they charge people money.
A small
for it, but the
SUV ready for
vaccine is
big
not.
adventures. Say hello to the Hyundai Kona with driver attention warning. A standard feature nowhere to be found on Chevy Trax, Honda HR-V, or Jeep Renegade.
Actually, it used to be you had to have a car, you had to make an appointment, and you had to have a prior approval. Now it's so ready, available now, that you don't even have to have an appointment. You make an appointment to come in, but you can now just walk and get a shot. We're almost 1% to where we have a vaccine now. So I don't know, that's the thing. It's hard to get. It started off with the pandemic. It was hard to even test, to find the test, and they were charging people $100 so bad. That kind of exposed people. You couldn't even get tested. You had to contact the providers. So that thing ended, and then it was crazy trying to find places to women to get shots. Now that's where you find out there's fine. Now that these megapods have more vaccine, they're trying to take those things to smaller sites. I think pharmacies, and you can just go to a pharmacy and get your shot. And this, I guess, this is for people who haven't yet received them. And then I heard that they're supposed to have kids. It's Pfizer. They're supposed to be allowing kids as young as 2 to get appointments. Let the parents make appointments and then be able to have their kids get shots.
Make it say ooh, make it say wow. Watch me now. You're gonna see what everybody's talking about.
They really cautious. Now, from what I've heard here in LA, there's still businesses that require you to wear masks. You still gotta go wearing a mask, trying to be safe going through that whole to protect yourself, even if you get vaccinated. And there may be some places where you don't have to wear a mask, but you still have to wear a mask in places or visit and there's a lot of different ingredients that make them they say you have to keep it safe. You have to use your best judgment as far as supervision. So that's what we're doing. We've been since that's something very important as far as this eviction, you know, a lot of people have been pretty much put out of their apartments. I've seen South LA, there's places that they can't stay in their apartments. That is relocate. A lot of these people are having to live with family members or double up or triple up with family members.
El totalmente nuevo Hyundai Elantra, ahora con pantalla táctil de 10 pulgadas y cuarto, no disponible en Civic, Corolla o Sentra. Obtén 0 de interés y sin pagos por 90 días, más 1,000 bono en efectivo en el Elantra 2021. Visita comprehyundai.com.